went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day.
Hi, this is Kelly Elpin with Golf Life Navigators. Thanks for joining us for yet another episode of Voices of the Game, as we spend a few minutes reminiscing with outstanding golf media who've covered our great game down through the years. Our guest today, you know him as a media member, as an analyst and tower announcer for Golf Channel on NBC's PGA Tour coverage. But you really know Peter Jacobsen as the player, the 7-time winner on the PGA Tour, 2-time member of the Ryder Cup, and easily one of the most affable and genial people in golf. Peter Jacobsen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for having me. Great to talk with you again.
Well, great to talk to you. And Peter, we're so proud as well to have you as a member of the Golf Life Navigators family, as a partner in the company and our spokesperson. You have a great feeling for what we do and our mission to help people, identify those outstanding places to move to and to get that ideal golf lifestyle throughout the Sun Belt.
Well, it's an honor to be involved with you and Jason Becker and Lynn Josephson and everybody on your team. I can't think of a more worthwhile venture than Golf Life Navigators in helping people, pardon the pun, navigate their way through the many opportunities and options when they're looking for a change in their life to get down to the Sun Belt, wherever that may be in the United States, and try to find that perfect connection between golf and a home site. So it's fun to work with you on that.
Well, we're, as I said, delighted to have you, and you've had so many great moments in your wonderful golf career, and they continue with the work you're doing with NBC and Golf Channel, and you've won a couple times on the Champions Tour with major championships. But Peter, I know that there's one person in particular who's meant probably more to you in your golf life than anyone else. And let's spend a few minutes today talking about the one and only Arnold Palmer. When did you first meet Arnold?
I actually first met Arnold here in Portland, Oregon, when I was probably 12 or 13 years old. He was out here doing a promotional tour for his clothing company at the time. And I happened to be at a clinic that he had done with Dave Marr at Oswego Lake Golf Club, just outside of Portland. And I had a chance to meet him and actually hit a golf shot in front of him. I was just a junior player, and there were a bunch of people around, and I actually had a chance to hit a shot in front of him. But I really didn't formally meet Arnold until I was a rookie on tour. I was 22 years old. I had just got my card and had Monday qualified for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, back then known as the Crosby Clambake. I had Monday qualified at Old Del Monte Golf Club on a Monday and was so excited. That was my first ever PGA Tour event. And I wanted to go play a few practice holes before the sun set. So I ran over to Monterey Peninsula Country Club and teed off on the backside. That was in the rotation that year. It was Pebble, Cypress Point, and Monterey Peninsula, 3 of the greatest golf courses anybody will ever play. And I teed off on 10, and I played a few holes on the back, and the sun was setting into the ocean, so I skipped over to play the 16th hole, and I hit a few tee shots, and around the corner comes a group, and I look back, and the group is headed by Arnold Palmer. And so here I am, a rookie, just a fresh-faced kid from the state of Oregon, cutting in front of the king. And the thing that really impressed me, Kelly, at that point was when you're a rookie and you're breaking into any type of organization or business, and you get in the way of one of the leaders, you don't really know what's going to happen. He could have big-timed me. He could have walked up and brushed me off to the side, but he walked right up to me on the tee, saw me there with my caddy and my golf bag, and he walked right up and he stuck his hand out. He said, "Hi, I'm Arnold Palmer. Can I join you?" And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought to myself, well, this guy is doing his very best to make me feel welcome and to make me feel as though I was a part of this moment with him right now. And that really was the magic of Arnold Palmer. He could make everybody that he was talking to at that moment feel like he was his best friend. And that to me, that had a huge impact on me.
And it didn't matter, Peter, whether you were a peer, meaning a fellow tour player, or just someone who Arnold might have met in the gallery, et cetera. He had that unbelievable ability, didn't he, to make you feel
He did.
better.
And once we teed off on 16, we talked a little bit about me. He asked me where I was from, what I did, where I went to school, and we got on the 17th hole, and he reached into his bag and he pulled out a sleeve of Arnold Palmer golf balls, and he gave them to me, and he said, "Hey, Peter, I'm bringing out a new golf ball, doing a new business venture. Here's a sleeve. Would you try them and let me know what you think?" Now, that was one of the coolest things I've ever received, but it also ensured that I was going to have a second conversation with Arnold Palmer, because you know me, Kelly, I was going to seek him out at the next tournament, and I was going to tell him what I thought. And of course, no matter what, if I had hit the golf balls or not, I was going to tell him they were the greatest golf balls on the planet.
And of course you did.
And I did. It made me feel like I was a part of his world for that very moment.
Exactly. And what a special world that was. Did you ever team up and play with Arnold as a four ball in any competitions?
We did. We played in I would say we probably played in 20, maybe 25 tournaments. We played in a tournament that I started up here in Portland, Oregon, called the Fred Meyer Challenge. It was a best ball championship, and I invited Arnold to play as my partner every year, and subsequently we partnered in Greg Norman's Shark Shootout, the Franklin Templeton Shootout. We played in that. Oh my gosh, we must have played 8 or 10 times in that. So we played a lot of golf together. We partnered together, and we just had so much fun. I don't know how old Arnold was when we stopped playing. He might have been in his early 60s, but whenever we played together, we used to laugh and give each other the needle, and we giggled like high school kids. We had so much fun because we both loved the game, and we both loved to laugh at each other with our good shots as well as our bad shots.
Yeah, is that a big part of it, Peter? That ability to the commonality of loving the game, but also to share the good, the bad, give each other a hard time. You both have had that in your repertoire down through the years.
I think, Kelly, the thing that makes golf the great game that it is, and we all know it to be, is that you could take somebody in their 60s or 70s and put them in a foursome with somebody who is just starting the game or in their teens, or a college player in their 20s, and you could have a fabulous day, because the thing that binds you and connects you together is the love of the game. And that's when you can share thoughts and stories about your experiences, but also swing fundamentals. There are things that Arnold did that he taught players like Jay Haas and Curtis Strange and Brad Faxon and Tom Watson all down the line. Little memories, little thoughts about the grip, about ball position, about rhythm, different aspects of the game. And again, it doesn't matter if you're in your 60s or 70s, or if you're in your teens or 20s. Those thoughts and fundamentals of the game, they cross decades and different generations.
Peter, I wonder, his father, as you know, was a PGA professional. He was a golf course superintendent. He served the members at his club, and Arnold grew up in that environment of always giving back, of serving. And it always seemed to me that carried over in his life, of always trying in some way, in shape or form, to help people. And so you mentioned all those outstanding players he mentored. That's just it kind of came almost naturally to him in a way, didn't it?
It did come naturally to him, wanting to help people. And I was with Arnold I would probably say I was with him in probably 100 outings where we partnered, or we played an exhibition, or I was in a pro-am with Arnold, and I never saw Arnold fail to to have a good day. Every time I was with Arnold, he always went out of his way to make everybody else feel special. And Arnold always said, the game of golf has given me so much that I want to give back whatever I gained from the game. And anybody that you know, Kelly, and you know thousands of people across the country that have an Arnold Palmer story. And what's fun to do, it's fun to hear people say, well, let me tell you my Arnold Palmer story. And it could involve them or their father or their mother or their brother. And everybody has a kind story to talk about Arnold. And that's just the way he was built. That was in his DNA. He was not selfish. Well, he wanted to win. He wanted to beat everybody. People always say a golfer's really nice until you're tied with him or you're losing to him. And then things get mean and things get serious. But I think that just goes to just the nature of competition. But Arnold was never boastful. He was never spiteful. He just enjoyed people in the game. And I think that's just a wonderful part of this game that we love.
So, Peter, you mentioned about the thousands of people, if not millions, tens of thousands of people who have Arnold Palmer stories. How about Peter Jacobsen? How about a great one or two Arnold Palmer stories in particular from your memories?
Well, the first one I just told you about when I first met Arnold, when he could have big timed me, but he didn't. He was just that kind of person that would always give to people. And one of my favorite stories was right here in Portland, 1982. Arnold and I had become friends. We were not close friends. We were friends. And the U.S. Senior Open was coming out to Portland Golf Club, and Arnold was looking for a caddy. And I said to him, Arnold, I've got my older brother, David, who is an excellent golfer. David's a member now of the Royal and Ancient Club in St. Andrews. He's played in many USGA championships. I said, I'd like to ask if my brother David can caddy for you. And Arnold said, absolutely. So David caddied for him in the 82 Senior U.S. Open here at Portland Golf Club, which was won by Miller Barber. Arnold played well. I think they finished close, maybe in the top 5. But every night, David and Arnold went out to dinner. I joined them a couple times, and my brother David developed such a special relationship with Arnold. But again, that just goes to the magic of the man about how he would love to just give back and draw people into his circle. And the other stories, again, would be out here with the event I created in Portland, Oregon, the Fred Meyer Challenge I mentioned. Arnold came 17 years in a row as my partner came out here and played 17 years in a row. And as you know, Arnold gets so many requests and has so much demand on his time that he wouldn't do something like that. But he loved this area. He loved Portland Golf Club. He loved Portland, Oregon, that he played 17 years in a row. And through the event, we raised somewhere close to $13 million for children's charities. But again, it was one of the great feathers in the cap of the city of Portland and the golf tradition here in Oregon to have Arnold Palmer come and be a part of what we love.
Well, and we can always and forever picture Arnold with the thumbs up to the galleries. And I'm wondering, Peter Jacobsen, with the impressions that you did down through the years, I'm sure you still do a few of them when called upon. You have been known to do a really good Arnold Palmer impression. What did he think of that? Did he give you a thumbs up on that? Did he get a kick out of it?
He did get a kick out of it. I started doing that when I was in grade school and high school, just watching these guys on TV, my heroes, Nicholas and Trevino and Palmer and Player on the Shell's Wonderful World of Golf and CBS Golf Classic. So I had done that my whole life. And finally, when I broke it out on tour, when I was just on tour and I was doing clinics, and I would always end up the clinic and do that, Arnold got a kick out of it. And I asked him, I said, do you mind if I do that? He goes, no. He goes, that's just fine. So I would always do it in front of him, and he would laugh and get a big chuckle out of it. And of course, whenever you do an impression, you've got to exaggerate things. Instead of picking up grass to test the wind, I'd always pull chest hair, being Arnold, because he was such a stud, and he would always have he'd always be checking the shaft and the whirlybird follow through, or any of those little traits that he would do in his swing, I would do, and he would allow me to do them. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's beautiful. A few weeks ago, when we were together for a lunch in Naples, you were signing some pin flags for us as gifts, Golf Life Navigators pin flags, and I noted how beautifully you sign your autograph. And you said to me that Mr. Palmer had something to do with that. Is that correct?
That is correct. When I was doing an exhibition with Arnold in Los Angeles, and we had played golf with the head golf professional down at Annandale Golf Club, Pat Riley, and we were just finishing up the day. And the members had laid out a bunch of flags and hats and programs for us to sign. Now, obviously, they clearly want Arnold's signature, but because I was there, they got mine as well. And I was signing, and I was starting to get a little sloppy with my signature, and Arnold grabbed me. He was behind me signing, and he grabbed me, and he pulled me. He turned me around and said, "That signature is terrible. You're going too quickly, and it's too sloppy. I can't read it." He said, "If you're signing a bank check or a contract, you can be sloppy as you want, but if you're signing a piece of memorabilia that could hang on someone's wall, you sign it so people can read it." And that really had a big impact on me, because, as you well know, and everybody that's listening to us right now, when they see an Arnold Palmer signature, it looks like a stamp. And as a result, from that day, I stopped signing my name, and I started drawing my name, because when I sign flags and I see other players' names on the flags, and they don't take the time to draw it legibly, or to write their name legibly, I feel so badly for them, because why in the world are you signing a flag other than for somebody to know that you were there and that is your name, and that is the way that you sign your name? That basically says a lot about you and your character. So from that day forward, you can read my signature, Kelly, even on a contract or even on a check, because that's basically how I can honor Arnold by signing my name and my signature legibly when someone asks me for it.
Well, and Peter, that influence transcends golf. I remember reading a piece about the great NFL All-Pro Ed Reed when he was with the Baltimore Ravens, and during a summer camp, going through the line at the end of a long day, and he was meticulously signing his autograph. Yeah, Ed Reed is a short name. Nonetheless, he was meticulously signing every one of them. And when he was asked, he said, "Yeah, I learned that from Arnold Palmer. I watched him do that at a golf tournament I went to." Isn't that amazing?
Well, I did the same thing with Paula Creamer. I was doing an event with Paula Creamer, and we were signing autographs, and she was behind me to the left, and somebody said, "Wow, Paula, your signature is so beautiful." And she said, "Well, interesting. I was playing in a pro-am with Arnold Palmer one time." So it's the same story, but that tells you a lot about a leader, or somebody that is as influential as an Arnold Palmer, who could leave a lasting impression on people for years and years. And now that we've lost him about a year, almost 2 years ago now, about a year and a half, I would say, that I guarantee you the stories like this and impressions like that will last for decades.
Peter, as we conclude here, and keeping those lasting impressions in mind, obviously Arnold, the legacy he leaves from a humanitarian standpoint, as a golfer, golf course design, from the business world are so numerous. For you, what is the impact that Arnold has had on your life moving forward that you'll always cherish, well and above and beyond a beautiful golf signature?
The thing that impacted me the most about Arnold was whenever anybody would come up to him, whether it was while he was playing, while he was sitting in his golf cart greeting people at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, whether he was at dinner I was at dinner with him many times at a table, either just the two of us or in a group. Whenever anybody would come up and ask him a question, whenever they would greet Arnold, Arnold would stand up, he would look them in the eye, and he would shake their hand, and he would pay attention to them. And I know that sounds silly to say, but when you think about people that come through your life, a lot of times you can be distracted. Kelly Eldon
Yes.
can be distracted. I can be distracted when you're trying to do whatever you do. But I never saw Arnold become distracted. He always would turn, stop, pay attention. It could have been a 10-year-old asking for an autograph, or it could have been a 50-year-old with somebody who had a story to tell about their father. Every time I saw Arnold, he never blew anybody off. And for a guy with that much notoriety, the great Arnold Palmer, that just impressed me. So I've always thought that, boy, if it's good enough for Arnold, it's good enough for me, and it's good enough for all of us. So I always endeavor that whenever I could be at a Best Buy, I could be at a 7-Eleven. If somebody happens to know me and stop me, I will always turn and pay attention and honor that person and show that person respect by listening, because we all deserve that, and we should have that respect from our fellow man.
Well, no question about it. Well, you've paid that forward and continue to do so beautifully, and we owe you a debt of gratitude for bringing so much joy to this game down through the years. And now you've really enjoyed your work in the tower for NBC. You've got some big events coming up this year, none larger than the Ryder Cup in France in September. That should be quite a spectacle.
It's going to be, to me, the Ryder Cup is the golf event of the year. It's the golf event of the calendar. And unfortunately, it's every 2 years. So we get. I wish we could do it every year. I wish we could do it every week. But if we did the Ryder Cup every week, it wouldn't have the allure that it has. What we saw 2 years ago at Hazeltine in Minneapolis was simply incredible. Think back to the Rory Patrick Reed match, the wagging of the finger, the making of the putts, the Mickelson Garcia match, where I think 18 birdies were made between the two of them in 18 holes. It's going to a romantic city in Paris.
Yeah.
And I know so many players on the European side they want revenge. They want to get the cup back. And all of us on the broadcast team with NBC are just really excited about going over.
Well, thanks again for sharing that excitement. Thanks for the reminiscences about the great Arnold Palmer. This is Kelly Elvin with Golf Life Navigators. Thank you, Peter Jacobsen, again for joining us. Peter, we look forward to seeing you at the club.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it very much.